Welcome to a Sunny Side Up Life podcast, a show for the woman who is ready to live an abundant life full of freedom and positivity. I'm Sami and I'm on a mission to help you break free from survival mode, gain financial freedom, stay motivated, and focus on what matters most. Join the movement and let's start living on the brighter side of life together. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today I want to talk to you about shifting into an abundance mindset. So I feel like a lot of people don't normally associate the word abundant with the word budgeting, right? I feel like that's kind of a really strange thought to a lot of people. I feel like the word budgeting usually has an underlying connotation of scarcity, of sacrifice, other words that kind of go along with that. And I don't think that a lot of people usually think that budgeting can lead them to abundance. And I was the same way when we first started. But over these past 4 or 5 years of us being on this journey of intentional living and financial freedom and becoming debt-free and all minimalism and all the things that we have done over the past 4 or 5 years, I have really found that budgeting and abundance actually do go together in a lot of ways. So I talk a lot about how it's not just a budgeting journey and that it's not all about the numbers, that it's about so much more than just the numbers, and that it's really first and foremost a mindset journey, and that we have to get our minds right if we're ever going to get our money right, or any other part of our lives for that matter, any other intentional living thing in our life. We have to get our mind right. And I think that's where the abundance comes in. So for me, abundance became a word that I started to have to add to every aspect of my life to really start making progress on this journey and start to actually see some success in all of these different aspects of my life. So for me, abundance really meant broadening my horizons. And what I mean by broadening my horizons was thinking farther than just what fun thing we were going to do next weekend, thinking farther ahead than just the next payday, kind of getting out of survival mode and realizing that, there was a bigger world out there than just getting by. And I think that when you're in survival mode, you're so laser focused on honestly just surviving and getting to the next payday, of making sure that the electric bill gets paid, making sure that you have enough groceries for the week ahead, making sure that you have enough formula for your baby, enough diapers to get through until the next payday, making sure that, a collection agent isn't going to be calling you and harassing you because you haven't made a payment. That is survival mode, and it's very dark and it's very laser focused, right? So I think when we start to take these steps, and budgeting is one of those steps that you have to take, being intentional with your money, it helps you to open your eyes a little bit, right? So when you're in survival mode, it is just like a peep, like you're peeping through your blinds, and you could only see a tiny bit out the window. But as you start to take steps towards this intentional journey, and you start to open your mind into an abundance, you start to broaden that vision, and you start to broaden the horizon for your entire life with every passing week, with every single step that you take towards an intentional life. So you start to think farther than just payday. You start to actually save some money for some things in the future. You start to put a little buffer between you and an emergency with a savings account. You start to actually make some progress on your debt. And, this isn't going to happen overnight, but these are little steps that you take. And slowly but surely, they add up. and you look back kind of like we are now 4 or 5 years into the future, and you really, hindsight is 2020. You really see all of those steps start to add up. And you start to see, yeah, I really did start to broaden my horizons. I started to think about retirement for the first time in my life. I started to think about, how are we going to be able to put our kids through college or support them in their dreams? How are we going to be able to become debt free and things like this, things that are farther away than just the weekend, things that are farther away than just the next payday. So taking steps like that is very important. And not only broadening your horizons, but also I think feeling worthy of more. I think the worthiness is something that a lot of us struggle with. We feel like I'm not special, I'm just a regular person, or struggling is just, it's just normal. And a lot of us have grown up around this. We've seen this pattern of surviving, this pattern of living a average life or a below average life. For a lot of us, we're second, third, fourth generation deep into this kind of lifestyle, and it's just normal. And we feel like, why should I succeed while other people around me are struggling? So maybe your parents are struggling, your grandparents, your siblings, your close friends, your coworkers, whoever it is, and they spend their time complaining about money, and they spend their time scraping by financially, and you think, well, I'm not any better than them. I'm not worthy of living this stress-free life, a financially stress-free life, while everyone around me is struggling. Who am I? Why do I think I'm better than them? And a lot of this, I feel like it's very common with your family, but it's also very common with your coworkers, especially if you make the same amount of money as they do. You're going to think, well, we make the same amount of money. I don't deserve to have a savings account while they don't. And a lot of times I feel like this is a very subconscious thought. We don't think it out loud, but it's there. And I think once you start to kind of look for it, you're going to notice it more and more. So feeling worthy it's a hard one. And I feel like it's a step that a lot of us don't realize is a necessary step for achieving this abundance mindset in this journey. And feeling worthy of a better life. Who am I to strive to be a millionaire when, so-and-so that I love is just trying to keep her bills paid? Who am I? Why do I think that I'm so special? Right? And maybe there's even people around you that are going to comment, well, you just think you're so fancy, don't you? With your paid off vehicles and, your big savings account, and, and I've had those comments too. And you have to learn to work through them. And you have to realize that you are worthy, that we're all worthy. The people that are making those comments, they're worthy too. They just don't believe that they are. I think that survival mode really gets you stuck in a scarcity mindset. It gets you stuck in that mindset. And you feel like there's not enough. There won't be enough of whatever it is. And I think that the scarcity mindset is what led me into so much clutter in my house as well. And like I said, it spills over into every single aspect of your life. So the scarcity mindset was telling me, well, you need to keep all these clothes, even though you really don't like them. They're out of style. They don't fit you great. You don't enjoy wearing them. But, what if you can never afford new clothes? What if? That's a scarcity mindset, you guys. The scarcity mindset also keeps our freezer full of food that's freezer burnt, that we know that we don't want to eat, right? Because we're like, but if I throw that away, I might not. What if I can't afford groceries in a couple of weeks and that's all I have? That is a scarcity mindset. That is a scarcity mindset. And once you start to look for it, I think you're going to see it more and more. And we have to break ourselves free of that. Minimalism really helped me with that. And prayer honestly really helped me with that, because I had to work through that. That was a big heart issue for me, of there will be enough. I believe that there will be enough. And I had to grow my mindset into an abundant mindset. And budgeting actually helped me with that, because I was planning ahead and I was confirming with myself there will be enough, because I made a plan for it. It wasn't just guessing anymore. So for me, I would rough estimate budget several months in advance. And I always recommend doing this if possible. And of course, it probably won't be exact, because, things are going to change in 6 months. Probably it's not going to be exact, but rough estimate budgeting. And you can always go back and edit it if you need to. But it really helped me get into that abundance mindset, because I would notice, I would see it on paper, and I would see, okay, in 6 months, we are still going to have food. We are going to have made some progress on our savings, or made some progress on paying off our debt, and it will be okay. And I had to work through that, because I was so stuck in that scarcity mindset, of just that habitual pattern of there isn't enough, there won't be enough. And that leaves us in such a bad headspace. So I feel like, working towards that, taking those steps, looking for those triggers, those things that set us off, that put us in those scarcity mindsets, and taking a second to stop and readjust and think, how can I flip this into an abundance mindset, not a scarcity mindset? And I think once we start to apply this abundance mindset to every aspect of our life over time, you're going to look back in a couple of years and really see where that work paid off. And just like anything, breaking any habit, it is going to take a lot of conscious effort at first. But I feel like it is so necessary on any kind of intentional living journey. So whether that's, with budgeting or minimalism, or, your food, or your weight loss journey, or anything, we have to shift into an abundance mindset. And we have to look for ways to break free from the scarcity and break free from the survival mode. And we have to reassure ourselves that we are worthy of abundance. So that is just kind of my thoughts on shifting into an abundance mindset. And I feel like it is so necessary, you guys, so necessary. So I hope that this episode was helpful for you. Jump over and leave me a review and let me know what you thought of this episode. Don't forget to subscribe. That is how this little podcast is going to grow, and share with your friends. I would so appreciate it. All right, guys, I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.